Welcome back to the channel. If you're thinking about making the move to sunny St. Pete, Florida here in 2025, this video is definitely for you. What we're gonna do today is pop onto a map view, and I'm gonna show you some of the top neighborhoods in St. Pete. We're gonna talk about what they have access to, why you might like these areas or not, what the average price point is, and kind of just what the housing availability is like in there to help you make a decision of whether or not you should move to St. Petersburg, and if so, where. If you're new here, my name is Jeffrey Clark. I'm the broker owner for Clark Realty, and we are a top producing agency here in St. Petersburg, Florida, helping people every day buy and sell homes coming in and out of the city. And last year we ended in the top 1.8% of all realtors in our marketplace with hundreds of 5-star reviews and hundreds of homes sold. So let's get into it. If you need anything at all, just reach out to us at the information below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below with other ideas that you'd like us to make videos on in the future. And if we can ever be of service in any way with your housing goals, just reach out. Let's get started. Okay, so here is the map, and this is our peninsula. You can see St. Petersburg here. Technically, St. Pete makes up this east side of the peninsula, and over here is Clearwater, and then there's a couple cities in the middle of the peninsula here. But for all intents and purposes, you can just kind of think of our peninsula as St. Petersburg. We are obviously located on the west coast of Florida. You can see there if we zoom out. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by zooming in. And the first neighborhood we're gonna talk about is the historic Old Northeast. And that is this section here, just north of the St. Pete Pier in downtown St. Petersburg, kind of this section here. This neighborhood is definitely one of St. Pete's oldest and most picturesque areas. You can kind of think tree-lined streets, vintage bungalows, and beautiful waterfront parks. It's a really good place for anyone who loves history, character, and the best part is its proximity to downtown, as well as other things like shopping, restaurants, and pretty much anything you need. The historic Old Northeast is very close to it. This street that runs north-south here is 4th Street North, and along 4th Street North there's grocery stores like Publix, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Starbucks, there's banks, there's other little cafes and shops and restaurants. And then down here running east-west is Central Avenue, and Central Avenue is another just major street here where there's a lot of boutique shops, restaurants, things to do, as well as all the nightlife of downtown St. Pete. And as you can see, this area in the historic Old Northeast is very close to all of those amenities, making it one of the more desirable places to live in St. Petersburg. It's also got a really strong sense of community. The people who live here are really active in the community. They do a lot of things, especially around the holidays. Halloween is a big thing here where they shut down some of these streets. A couple houses go very, very hard. Like they will go extreme when it comes to the Halloween decorations. They actually close down a couple of these streets. People fill up the streets. There's hundreds of people out in costumes. It's a really good time. And people here just really take the culture of St. Pete to heart. I think just by being in the middle of it all, it makes it easier to be involved. But if you're someone who really wants to connect with your community, you like historic homes with close proximity, this area is probably for you. If you're looking to buy a home in this neighborhood, the median price is going to be like 1.1 to 1.2 million, which I know is a little bit much. Obviously, you can find homes for more or less than that, and that's going to be a common theme here. Most of these median price points that I'm going to tell you in these different areas, you can obviously find things less or more expensive depending on the condition, the size, and a variety of other factors. But on average, if you want to be in the historic Old Northeast, you're going to pay about twice the median price point of St. Pete as a whole, just because you're so close to everything. And on average, the homes here are larger with larger lots. Another thing to be aware of is here on the east side of the historic Old Northeast is few very gorgeous parks as well as really pretty water scenes. Let's drop our little guy down here real quick and give you guys kind of a view here. So this is one of the parks. There's North Shore Park. There's also Vinoy Park that's farther down here. You can even see the downtown St. Pete buildings in the distance. It's just really nice to be able to walk basically to downtown, to grocery stores, or to 3 or 4 amazing parks with waterfront views. It's just a really good place to be. Also here in the historic Old Northeast, if you're looking to be close to a school, you're in luck. All in all, this is a really beautiful neighborhood with some gorgeous homes, everything from old historic bungalows to more updated mega mansions. Just a really good place to be if you've got the money to afford it. And that's the historic Old Northeast. Let's move on to the next one, which is going to be Crescent Lake, just on the west side of that 4th Street North Street that we just talked about. And so as you can imagine, if the location for the historic Old Northeast was good, the location for Crescent Lake is going to be good as well. You can see, very close proximity to 4th Street, very close proximity to Central and the pier and everything downtown St. Pete has to offer. Plus, Crescent Lake area has access to, you guessed it, the Crescent Lake, which is one of my personal favorite parks in St. Petersburg. It's got a, I can't remember if it's a 1 or a 2 mile loop, but it's one of those, and it's this loop around this gorgeous lake here, perfect for all the beautiful weather that we get in St. Petersburg. And then, actually, let me back out here because areas. On the south end of the park is also a little dog park area. There's pickleball courts. And there's just a lot of really cool amenities here. There's a little baseball diamond here. Here's the dog parks. The pickleball courts are a little bit down here for you. Yep, you can see them all there. Really, really nice place to be, Crescent Lake is, not just for its location, but also for its variety of houses. If you're looking to purchase a home in this Crescent Lake area, the median price point is gonna be somewhere closer to $800,000, a little less expensive than the historical Northeast because there's a little bit more availability for smaller homes in the Crescent Lake area. For someone who doesn't need 5 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms, but is comfortable with a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom home, but still wants to be in the middle of everything, Crescent Lake might be a good option for you. This is one of St. Pete's more traditional neighborhoods with really mature landscaping as well as some traditional homes, some of which date back to the 1920s. So the architectural style here is really interesting and really engaging for people who live here. One of my personal features of Crescent Lake is definitely that unique architectural style. So definitely something for you to check out if you come into town. A fun fact about the Crescent Lake neighborhood is Babe Ruth, the famous baseball player, actually lived in this area back in the 1920s. So just a cool little tidbit of history here in St. Petersburg. Moving on from Crescent Lake, let's go down a little bit southwest into this historic Kenwood area. And as you can see, with this being downtown St. Petersburg, and we're gonna come back to downtown St. Petersburg, the historic Kenwood area is still a close proximity to everything downtown St. Pete has to offer, as well as being close to this road here, which you can see has 19 on it, but turns into 34th. And 34th, similar to 4th Street North, has a lot of shopping, restaurants, and things like that. So by being in historic Kenwood, you have close access to downtown St. Pete, the nightlife, the pier, the museums, everything else downtown has to offer, as well as being very close to things like Publix, Sam's Club, a bunch of different little markets, restaurants, and food spots. Really, really nice place to be. This area is really known for its mature oak trees, brick streets, and a really high concentration of craftsman bungalows, which is kind of one of the distinctive styles of home in Florida. It's also really known for its colorful homes and vibrant murals. Kenwood is kind of this like artsy, fun, fresh, cool vibe area. It's hard to explain, but hopefully that conveys the messaging. Imagine driving down and seeing a bunch of colorful homes, some with murals, some with not, cool artsy statues in front yards, things like that. That's the vibe of historic Kenwood. For a home here, you can expect the price to be a little less than what we were talking about in Crescent Lake, maybe around like the high 6s to the low to mid 7s. But obviously, like we mentioned before, you can get things for above or below that depending on what you're looking for and how much elbow grease you want to put into fixing a place up. Kenwood was actually St. Petersburg's first ever suburb and, home for its full-time residents. Early in St. Petersburg, sometimes people would come here just seasonally, but the people who lived here year-round at the beginning of our city lived in historic Kenwood. So there's a lot of history there as well. Okay, zooming out from there, let's go to the other side of the peninsula, and we are gonna go check out South Pasadena. And that's located right here on kind of the southwest tip of our peninsula. South Pasadena's vibe is kind of like, quiet streets, close-knit community, and really easy access to beaches. That's one of the pluses of South Pasadena as opposed to some of the other neighborhoods we've talked about, which even though they're only like a 15-minute drive from some of these beaches on the west coast of St. Pete, and there are some beaches on the east coast, like there's a really pretty beach right by the pier in downtown St. Petersburg. But South Pasadena is closer to our major beaches, and so the vibe here is a little bit more beachy, more relaxed, a little calmer, because it's a little farther from downtown and a little closer to those beach vibes. This area has many types of homes. There's single-family homes, townhomes, condos, and of course there's waterfront properties. If you love the outdoors and you love beach life, South Pasadena might be an area for you to consider. The median listing home price here in South Pasadena in 2024 was about $350,000, but that could be a little bit misleading. A lot of the places here are 55 and older communities or condo communities with smaller units as opposed to some of the other neighborhoods we've spoken about, which are traditionally larger single-family homes. So while the median was about the mid-3s, a lot of those were smaller condos or only 55 and up, which doesn't work for everybody, but definitely would work for some people. There are still some single-family homes here, but as you can imagine, they'll be a little bit more expensive than some of the smaller condos. A couple things to look out for in this area is Upham Beach, which is a gorgeous park in the city, very, very famous for locals here. There's also some really good places to eat in this area. A couple of my favorites are Ted Peters' famous smoked fish spot and Horse and Jockey, which is a British pub because the British are so well known for their good food. All right, now let's take off from South Pasadena and go back closer to downtown again. And now we're gonna talk about the Grand Central Arts District, kind of also referred to as the Warehouse District. And this is also another spot very close to historic Kenwood and downtown St. Pete. You get all the benefits of the location that we spoke about before, as well as a couple other different characteristics of this neighborhood as opposed to some of the other ones we've listed. Most of the housing in this area is gonna be either a condo or townhouse, and the median listing price here is about $800,000 to $900,000. Obviously, again, you can go higher, you can go lower, but what you're paying for here is its close proximity to everything everything from downtown to shops to the Tropicana field to all of the cute little boutiques on Central, things like that. This also is a very artsy neighborhood with a lot of recent development taking it to, I don't know what you would call it, maybe elevated artsy. It's a really cool place to be, really cool vibes, and again, close to everything. Also, this area, St. Pete is paying a lot of attention to. A lot of people are calling this St. Pete's next great neighborhood. You know, it's already great, but they're trying to make it greater. There's this big plan they have in place right now called the Grand Central District Master Plan, where the city is planning on investing a lot of money into development, infrastructure, you know, housing, shops, and things like that. Basically just helping accommodate for all the people moving to St. Petersburg, since it's becoming more and more such an amazing place to live. And this area in particular is slated to see a lot of that investment. This area is already home to over 450 businesses and some of St. Pete's most popular restaurants, bars, coffee shops, breweries, boutiques, all of those kinds of things. Basically any cute little shop you can imagine, it's probably in the Grand Central Arts District. Okay, let's leave the Grand Central Arts District and head north and go check out this area over here called Snell Isle. Let me zoom out to give you guys some perspective on where this is in the peninsula. So Snell Isle is a very, very cool neighborhood and is very distinct in style to some of the other ones that we've talked about so far. The main things about Snell Isle, as distinct from some of the other neighborhoods, is this is where you want to live if you want waterfront or close to water luxury properties. That's what Snell Isle is for. If you're looking for the best of both worlds, which means like, you know, private, quiet living with close access to the city's nightlife, but not too close, but close access to dining and a lot of the other cultural scenes that happen in St. Petersburg, Snell Isle is a really good option. There's a lot of homes here that have waterfront views, and there are obviously some top-notch amenities here. The median price for a home in Snell Isle is $1.1 million, but homes in Snell Isle get much more expensive than that. There are some, you know, very large homes on the water that'll sell for multi-millions, and it is gonna be pretty hard to find a home, you know, pretty close to the water that's in good shape here under $1 million. Although obviously, you know, it could happen. These homes are really the height of luxury, and Snell Isle is a primarily residential area. This green spot that you can see here on the map is a resort and golf club, and the neighborhood here is almost entirely surrounded by water, as you can see, creating kind of a unique little pocket of waterfront luxury vibes here in St. Petersburg, Florida. Now, something to note here is even though you are on the water, this isn't beachy on the water. We're gonna touch on some more of those beachy on the water spots in a second. That'd be more on the west coast, kind of like we just talked about South Pasadena. But Snell Isle has water views, just not beach views. Overall on Snell Isle, it's a really very comfortable lifestyle. A lot of people enjoy boating, kayaking, paddleboarding, or biking downtown along Coffee Pot Bayou and Vinoy Park here. One thing to keep in mind with Snell Isle is you will need flood insurance. If you're getting a loan, they're gonna require that you have flood insurance because this is in a flood risk area. Some of these homes did get flooded last year in 2024 when for the first time in over 100 years, St. Pete got a direct hit by 2 hurricanes back to back. A lot of these homes made it through fine, but unfortunately a lot of them also did see pretty severe flooding. Now, thankfully, almost everybody was insured and it is federally subsidized. So a lot of people have gotten their homes back or are in the process of getting their homes back. And, you know, that's just gonna be up to your personal risk tolerance. Some people don't mind if every, you know, few decades they have to, you know, vacate their house and deal with insurance and get a free renovation. Other people don't want to deal with that at all. I'm one of those people. I prefer to live in flood zone X, meaning no flood risk, no flood insurance required. But hey, there's different preferences and different types of people. If you want the luxury, calm, laid back lifestyle, access to golf resorts, close access to downtown without being in downtown, Snell Isle may be for you if you can afford it. All right, let's go back to the other coast from Snell Isle and let's talk about Pass-a-Grille, because I said we would come talk about some beach style living. And Pass-a-Grille is definitely beach style living. Pretty much every home here, actually not even pretty much, it just is, every home here is a 30-second walk to the beach, which you can see here. Let's go down to the beachfront. Really, really gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful place to live if you like beach living, which if you're looking at St. Petersburg, you probably are interested in beaches to some extent. Pass-a-Grille is kind of an old Florida gem at the southern tip of St. Petersburg. It's really well known for its stunning beaches. It's got a lot of unique shops. It's got a historic district. It's this like small, charming community with a really big appeal for people who like the kind of traditional Florida beach lifestyle. Because it's a smaller area here, people here have the benefits of close access to all the amenities St. Pete has to offer, but it really has more of a small town vibe. You can imagine you can't fit that many homes on this little strip of land. And so, yeah, it's just kind of a laid back, relaxed culture down here. A lot of people here are just kind of chilling, enjoying the beach, going to shops, going to restaurants, and then making a 15-minute drive to downtown St. Petersburg whenever they want to be involved in any of the culture or nightlife or anything like that. Obviously, due to its proximity to the beach, beach, you can expect a higher median price point here, with the median in 2024 being $1.7 million. But there are many homes much more expensive than that, depending on, do you have a direct beach view or not? Are you 1 or 2 streets back? Are you a little bit smaller? Are you a little bit bigger? There's a lot of variety here, but it is not an inexpensive place to live if you want a single family home here in this area. Okay, going back from there, let's go ahead and just talk about downtown St. Petersburg, because we keep dancing around it. But this area here is downtown St. Petersburg. Let me zoom out so that you can see. It's kind of this section here. This little thing sticking out from the east side of downtown St. Pete is our pier. This is a gorgeous pier. I've heard people refer to it as the $100 million pier, but I don't actually know if it was $100 million. And there's just a lot of stuff going on over here. First off, there's the gorgeous pier you can walk. There's some restaurants here. And then if we go back to the map, this street, Bayshore, and this street, Beach Drive, also have a lot of restaurants, bars, coffee shops, Kilwin's ice cream, things like that. There's beaches off of the pier that you can go hang out at, which we shoot a lot of our videos at. You'll probably recognize this view from here. A lot of the time I'm standing right over here where these people are so that we can get the pretty pier in the background. But a really, really beautiful beach here. I'll often launch from Vinoy Park, which is the park down here, kayak up to the pier, park my kayak, get out, come up here, grab a bite to eat or a drink, go back to the kayak back to the park, get in my truck and go home. Really nice way to spend an afternoon. But downtown St. Pete in general is this entire area. And you would be in downtown St. Petersburg if you wanted really close proximity to basically everything that St. Pete has to offer, especially the nightlife, the cultural scenes, like all of the different museums, maybe live music, close access to the parks. Really, you are in the middle of it when you are in downtown St. Petersburg, but that comes with a price. The median listing price for downtown St. Petersburg last year was in the high 800,000s, almost 900,000. And there is a variety of different housing options available in downtown St. Pete. Everything from luxury water view condos to cute little bungalows to little townhouses and apartments stuck into alleys. There's really quite a few options depending on what you're looking for, with a variety of prices. For example, the other day I was showing a client a $300,000 condo that was walking distance to the pier. Now it was a tiny, 600 square feet condo, but that worked for some people. They don't need a ton of space. They just want to be in the middle of everything. We also showed some gorgeous units in 400 Central, which is the tallest building in St. Petersburg. It actually just capped out in height, and those are multi-million-dollar condos. So there's a large variety of options here in downtown St. Petersburg. The median's about 900,000, but this is for people who want to be in the middle of everything, want a more walkable or bikeable lifestyle where you don't ever really need a car unless you're going to leave downtown St. Petersburg, and you just kind of want to be in the middle of everything. If you live in downtown St. Pete, not only can you walk to shops and restaurants and the pier and parks, but everything else. All right, let's go back to the other coast again. I'm kind of enjoying this popping back and forth. And let's talk about Isla del Sol. I'm pretty sure that means Island of the Sun, but don't quote me on that. This is a really exclusive island community just off the southern tip of St. Petersburg. It's got a lot of upscale homes. Think like Florida retirement dream when you think of this area. A lot of condos, a lot of golf courses, a lot of 55 and older communities. It's not unusual to be walking around here and see many, many people cruising around on golf carts, going from their condo to a restaurant or to the beach or to anywhere else from this little area. It's really kind of like a traditional Florida paradise. Median listing price here is a little less just because there are a lot of smaller condos and a lot of 55 and older communities, median being about 450,000. If you love golfing, this golf course here is very well known in the area. It's an 18-hole championship golf course. It's got stunning views of the bay and the Gulf. Residents here really enjoy all of the different options for recreational amenities. There's usually a tennis court, a swimming pool, a gym, a clubhouse in all of these communities. It's really designed to kind of be a self-contained area where you never really have to leave unless you want to. Perfect for people who want to live a relaxed lifestyle in one spot and not need to worry about popping away to everywhere if you on a day-to-day basis. But if you wanted to, you could. Nothing here is too far from anything else. To get from that area to downtown St. Pete is maybe 15 minutes. Also, being so close to the water here, the area is home to a lot of diverse wildlife. That's really kind of true of a lot of places in St. Petersburg, but definitely here because it's a lot less busy. You can see dolphins, manatees, a ton of different bird species. It's a really popular spot for nature enthusiasts. This area is also really well known for having a very tight-knit community. A lot of residents come together through social clubs, events, and activities that just kind of foster camaraderie and connection. Overall, this area kind of offers this like luxurious, laid-back living with a tight social community for not that much money for people who want to live a traditional beachy Florida retirement kind of lifestyle. And last on our list, let's go back over here. We kind of already touched on some of these areas, but I want to make a small distinction from like the historic Old Northeast and downtown St. Petersburg and instead just focus on this strip of homes between Beach Drive and North Shore Drive. This is an iconic strip of homes in St. Petersburg, Florida. Everyone knows this area. In this strip and in this area, you're gonna find some of the best dining, best parks, best access to everything else. Same way that historic Old Northeast or Crescent Lake or the Grand Central Arts District all had close proximity to everything else. This obviously being right next to it has all of those benefits as well. It's just a wonderful place to live for a lot of residents. There's a variety of homes here, from condos to single family homes, especially as you start getting more into the north end. But it's really just a nice place to live because if the historic Old Northeast was close and walkable to the parks and water, this is even closer and more walkable. This is kind of like the spot to be in 2025 if you can afford it and if that's your vibe. The median listing price here along Beach Drive is about $1.25 million. Obviously more and less than that, especially if you don't mind a condo. You can find a condo for maybe $500,000, $400,000, depending on the size. Thing to keep in mind there is there are also association dues when you buy a condo. So it's a factor to consider if you want help kind of reconciling what that would mean in terms of purchase price. Just reach out to us at the information below. My team and I would be happy to help you. But this spot is gorgeous, accessible to everything, and a really nice place to be. So there you have it, 10 of the best areas to live in St. Petersburg, Florida. Obviously, there are many more neighborhoods at a variety of different price points. If you have any questions at all, my team and I would love to help you. Just reach out to us at the information below. Comment below any ideas you have for future videos or other information you'd like us to provide to you. Make sure you like and subscribe so you see future videos, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.